Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Since I received Amida's gift of Shinjin, I have seen a few people in the Jodo Shinshu Sangha come and go. I've seen people that mix Buddhist and non-Buddhist practices, and eventually these people add and subtract such practices, and eventually they leave Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. And when I'm talking about Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, I'm talking about the traditional Jodo Shinshu teachings as taught by Masters Shinran and Renyo. That's what I adhere to. That's what I focus on. Those are the teachings that I cling to. I no longer feel the need to add or subtract from this traditional teaching, this practice. And what this practice is, in a nutshell, as I've said, is I entrust myself to Amitabha Buddha. I say his name in faith, and I wish to be born in his pure land of bliss and peace. Having done so, I have received the gift from Amida known as Shinjin. That is simple faith. And it's more than just adhering to an ideology or the teachings of this particular school of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. It is a knowing. It is a very deeply personal thing that has been welded into me. It's not through indoctrination. It's not through, because when I received Shinjin, this knowing that Amida Buddha is real and that his pure land is real, I knew very little about Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. In fact, after receiving Shinjin, since I had been a Zen practitioner for a few years prior to this, I continued to attend services at a local Taiwanese and Korean Zen, both Zen Buddhist centers. And I would sit in silent meditation, but I would focus on Nembutsu as it rose up. I never thought at that point that by doing silent meditation, I would add something that would bring me to the Pure Land. Now, prior to receiving Shinjin, and I think this is one of the things that might have delayed my receiving Shinjin, I would practice silent meditation and add other prayers to other Buddhas and the Green Tara chant and Guanyin Pusa chant, Avalokiteshvara, thinking this would make me purer and better and more accessible for Amitabha Buddha to send me to the Pure Land. Once I gave that up, one day I received Shinjin, and it blew my mind, and it has since revolutionized my life. That being said, I've met a few people online that for which this is not enough for them. Some people seem to think this is not real Buddhism. Real Buddhism involves silent Zen meditation. Real Buddhism involves self-practice with the firm belief that by practicing on your own, saying koans or koans, saying various mantras to various Buddhas and doing a certain number of prostrations and counting out the number of mantras said on your prayer beads, that this, through your own self-power, will bring you to enlightenment here in this Saha realm. Unfortunately, that is not the case. We are living in the age of Mappo, the age of Dharma decline. This is known in Buddhism as the Dharma ending age. That is to say, people are becoming more and more corrupt since the diminishing of Shakyamuni Buddha's Buddha field, so to speak. That being said, at this point in my life, having been a person of Shinjin and a traditional Jodo Shinshu practitioner for a number of years, I have found that there is no more perfect and complete form of Buddhism. Indeed, no more perfect and complete ideology or religion than what I am practicing now. And I keep saying traditional Jodo Shinshu Buddhism because that needs to be a clarification. There are a lot of schools referring to themselves as Jodo Shinshu that go against the teachings of our Pure Land masters, Shinran and Renyo. I hear in certain temples in Japan, I don't know if this is true or not, that they actually have open bars at certain hours where practitioners can come in and have a drink. That is definitely a violation. You know, plus the saying of other mantras to other Buddhas, of Zazen, silent Zen meditation, because they feel this will jazz up the so-called boring traditional Jodo Shinshu Buddhism of simply entrusting yourself to Amitabha Buddha, wishing to be born in his pure land and saying his name in faith and gratitude. I'm here to attest that the opposite is true. I don't need to add or subtract to this practice. Indeed, this practice, the more I live it, the more complete and fulfilling it reveals itself to me. As I've said in other videos, having done this for a number of years, I have gotten into the wonderful habit, and I'm saying habit, not level, not spiritual attainment, but habit of saying Nembutsu and focusing my negative thoughts on the name and the image of Amitabha Buddha in my mind. This is becoming more and more a way of life for me. This is becoming more and more a way of responding to the hardships, doubts, fears, and worries in my life. It is truly amazing how that simple practice of just saying the name of Amitabha Buddha, either aloud or in your mind, and just focusing to the Buddha, gives you what you need in terms, and I'm speaking of myself, in terms of letting go of all the negative thoughts and emotions. And I say all, in quotation marks, because I mean, I am an unenlightened being. I have not blown out the flame of clinging, of blind passions, of evil desires. That is a part of me as long as I live in the Saha realm. After this death, I will be born in Amitabha's land of ultimate bliss and peace. That's a given. I know this for a fact. In the meantime, I have to make do with this body, this mind, these emotions, and this world I live in, which is becoming more and more unhinged. more and more crazy, more and more violent. The last thing, and I'm speaking from personal experience as a long-time Buddhist practitioner, the last thing I need right now is to add a bunch of complex esoteric practices to my life. This is another wonderful thing about traditional Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. As I've said before, it's the simplicity. And as I grow older, I find the simplicity of this practice of simply entrusting myself to Amida and simply allowing my focus to go from whatever chaos it's on at the moment to Amida, to be so beneficial to my psychological and emotional health and well-being. I have met people in the Jodo Shinshu Sangha who feel that the opposite is true, that this simple Nembutsu practice is not enough in this crazy time, that you need silent meditation. And I think a lot of this stems from society's embracing of Zen Buddhism as a panacea, as a cure-all, as the ultimate cure. Well, there's some problems with that I've found personally. And I speak as a former, very involved, very devout Zen practitioner. First of all, just finding a quiet place can be an extreme, sometimes insurmountable obstacle. Second is the inward chaos. And I know in Zen they talk about monkey mind. And learning to silence and tame the monkey mind. Well, a lot of people will hear this and say, well, Dave, basically that's what you're talking about. It's a self-practice, focusing redirecting your focus from the chaos in your mind to Amitabha Buddha and his name. That's just another Zen technique. No, it's not, because I do not think that my redirecting of my focus from my chaos to Amitabha Buddha and his name will bring me any closer to going to the Pure Land. In Zen, it is a practice for attaining enlightenment, for bringing you to the Pure Land. There is nothing, and I want to make this very clear, there is nothing I can do or say to add or subtract to or from what Amitabha Buddha has done through his merit. I place all of my trust and faith in Amitabha Buddha's merits. I have no faith in my own. Indeed, I tend to feel that I have no redeemable merits or capacity to bring me to enlightenment through my own self-power in this Saha realm, this life I'm living here. Okay, I want to be very clear about that. Also, it is not a requirement as a person of Shinjin for you to focus, redirect your focus, and keep, get in the habit of focusing on Amitabha and his saying of his name. It will make your life a lot easier. All you need to go to the Pure Land is to entrust yourself and your karmic destiny to Amida Buddha, say his name in faith and gratitude, and wish to be born in his land of peace and bliss. That's it. That's all that's required to go to the Pure Land. And that does not come from you or I. That comes from Amitabha Buddha. Now, I say this in every video, and some people feel I say it ad nauseum. The reason I say it over and over again is because I want to drive the point home that it is not us. It is not our worthiness. It is not our ability that brings us to the point of Shinjin, that realization, that knowing that Amitabha Buddha and his Pure Land is real. Amitabha Buddha is not a figurative character. He is not a mythological, made up Buddha, as some believe it to be, as some believe him to be. His Pure Land is not a made up fictional land or a symbol. Neither Amitabha Buddha or his Pure Land are symbols. They are actual, real, tangible places. Now, I say tangible based on what my feeble mind can grasp as a person living in this Saha realm. But I know this, as a person living in this Saha realm, in this Dharma-ending decadent age of Mappo, this age of rampant suffering and desire gone mad, I don't have time to waste on trying to bring myself to a higher level in Buddhist practice. Then again, that is a Zen technique, that is a Mahayana. Most Mahayana schools have this view. You can attain enlightenment in this life. This is known as self-practice. In traditional Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, we acknowledge only other practice. Other practice is practice of just entrusting the one who does all the work. That one is Amitabha Buddha. He saves us. He brings us to his enlightenment in his Pure Land, which was created as a manifestation of him, of his enlightenment. It has nothing to do with us. I remember not so long ago at work, I had a coworker come to me and ask me, "You're a Buddhist, right?" And I said, "Yeah." "What level of Buddhism are you on?" Because I heard there are levels in Buddhism. And she said, "A friend told me this, that there are levels in Buddhism." I said, "Well, your friend must be a Zen practitioner." And she said, "Yeah, she is a Zen practitioner." And I explained to her that I said, "Well, I'm Jodo Shinshu. We don't have faith in our own merits. We entrust ourselves and our karmic destiny to Amitabha Buddha and wish to be born in our next life in his Pure Land of ultimate bliss and peace. So I simply say the name of Amitabha Buddha and focus on him. I have no faith in my merits." I also no longer feel like I have to add or subtract, like I said, to this practice, this simple practice that I've just stated. And I don't understand. I'm not judging. I'm speaking from my own experience, because I've tried basically everything. In terms of Buddhist and non-Buddhist practice, I've tried basically everything. I mean, I know there are endless religions and endless cults here on the earth, but I mean, overall, in terms of techniques to get it, to find yourself, to experience your God self, your higher self, to attain enlightenment, I've done it. And I put myself completely into whatever technique I would practice. Having been a person of simple faith, knowing that Amida and his Pure Land is real, knowing that he has saved me through his grace and love and compassion, having the miraculous tool of Namo Amida Bu at my disposal, and I don't own it, it isn't my property, it comes from Amida, and that's why it's so effective. I can't screw it up. I was able to very successfully screw up silent zazen meditation. I was able to totally screw up positive affirmations said in the mirror every day. And by the end of the day, it amounted to nothing. Now, throughout the course of my day, up until the point I go to bed, and now even in my dreams, I encounter Amitabha Buddha in one form or another. I feel and I sense his presence in my dreams. So that's 24 hours, 7 days a week. I get in the habit of saying Namo Amida Bu, focusing in my mind on those words. I don't need to add to them. I don't need to do anything elaborate. Just Namo Amida Bu, Namo Amida Bu, Namo Amida Bu. I don't need to use them as a magical spell or as an eraser to bless or to delete anything positive or negative in my mind or anything I'm going through at the time. I just take my focus and redirect it on Amitabha Buddha. And it doesn't always last because I'm a bamboo. I'm a spiritual idiot. I'm prone to screw ups. I'm prone to distractions. I'm prone to shortcomings. I'm prone to resentment. Name it. Gluttony, greed, lust, anger, hate, unforgiveness. You know, the usual human laundry list. That being said, since I do humbly acknowledge, and it is humble because I can't redeem myself. I can't fix myself. And so I've stopped trying to fix myself. At this point in my life, I acknowledge that I'm unfixable. And the only one who can heal and save me is Amitabha Buddha. And so my joy in this life is in focusing on him, saying his name, wishing to be born in his pure land of bliss and peace, and knowing that as a real enlightened Buddha, Amitabha Buddha has made this possible. Amitabha Buddha knows how to get this done. I don't. So I can honestly tell you in all self-confidence that I will never stray from this path. I will never try to mix anything with this practice of simply saying the Nembutsu and entrusting to Amida. Because never before in my life have I ever felt so spiritually fulfilled, so completely satisfied as I do right now. Namo Amida Bu.